we pulled up down on the WA South Coast on a beautiful little beach. It is as good as it gets. We got that crystal blue water, that white silica sand. It is absolutely gorgeous down here. Now, the plan is we're going to pull up here for a few days. A few days could turn into a week, who knows. It's so nice here. We're not really sure what we're going to do. We're talking about something that has truly transformed my setup. Now, this is something that I've never had on any of my previous setups. We're talking solar. And you're going to go, oh yeah, solar, right, I heard about it before. Some of you guys may have solar. Now look, on the 76, I never had any solar panels fixed to the vehicle. The main reason being, the way I tour is super quick and fast, and I was always getting charge out of the alternator. But that bit me in the ass a few times when we wanted to stay for an extended period of time. Or maybe I've come home and I've got the truck sitting in the car park for 3-4 days and it's just not getting any charge. All the fridges are running 100% of the time, and I just kept finding the battery was low. So on the new 79 build, if you've been following along, one of the first things we did was make sure I had solar on this setup. So done a full video on the 12 volt system here, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about everything else. This one specifically, I just want to talk about solar, get your guys' feedback. But I'm running a 240 amp hour lithium battery tucked in behind the canopy here. Now, up on top, we've just pulled up, we've popped the rooftop tent up. Old Navsy's staying in the rooftop tonight, so we've got the solar facing the sun. I'm running two 150 watt red arc solar panels. Okay, so I'll give you a closer look up in a second. But basically, because we've been charging a heap of camera gear, we had the pie oven running earlier. Navs had the inverter on for some of his camera gear, lights, all sorts of bits and pieces. We've actually drained the battery down to 73%. And as I can see here at the moment, we've got 2.1 amps is basically what it's using just to run the fridges and a couple of lights that are actually switched on at the moment. Now, off those two panels up on the roof, it's on a bit of an angle. The sun's, you know, it's not directly up in the sky. It's still early morning. But I'm actually pumping in 17.7 amps straight from the two solar panels, straight in here, which I can see on the Red Vision. Which, look, to be able to see how much power is going in and how much is coming out, right now, 15.6 amps is going directly into the battery. It's using a couple of amps to run everything, but basically at the moment I'm charging at 15.5 amps. Which at this rate, it says in 5 hours the batteries will be completely charged. So if we sit here for the rest of the day, these batteries will be back to 100%, which is absolutely nuts. Now, the weather forecast is looking pretty bloody average for the next couple of days, which is not ideal when you're in paradise. But I've actually got an extra blanket here as well. So I wouldn't normally need this or do this, but because I know we need to get these pumped up to get the most out of this full sun at the moment. Here's another blanket. Now, I actually use this between the car and also on the caravan. Now, on my caravan setup, I do have 450 watts of solar up on the roof, but the problem is my tinny covers part of it. So other than pulling the tinny back a little bit, which is not the end of the world, I went and got myself one of these. Now, there's your cord. It's a Red Arc foldable solar blanket. Now, super compact, as you can see. Basically, I just leave it in the truck, all folded out. It's in the direct sun at the moment. Best thing about this is I can sort of move it around depending on where the sun is. So if I've got the car all set up and the kitchen and the pantry out, I'll be able to drop that rooftop down as it comes closer to midday to make sure I'm getting the most out of the sun. But in the afternoon, if the rooftop tent isn't going to work, it's not the right angle, and I'm not getting any sun on the panels on the roof, I can simply move this one around. So this is a 112 watt solar blanket. So I'm going to plug this one in. Chuck this on the back here. So there we go. I've got an external solar Anderson, which we've just plugged in now. And if we have on here, it's just jumped up to 22 amps. So it's, oh, here we go. Now it's on the move. It's going to fluctuate. Right now that isn't in perfect sun. We might actually move it over there, but we're at 23, 24 amps at the moment. Let's have a play, see if we can get a little bit more out of it. 22, 23 amps. So let's put another sort of 5 amps in from where it was, which, look, that's pretty bloody impressive. I got, by the time it takes off those couple of amps, it's running everything at the moment. I got just over 20 amps. It's dropped that charge time down to 4 hours now, so I've taken another hour off. As that sun comes up a little bit higher, that'll go up even higher, which is bloody impressive. So solar blanket plus the ones up on top. Now look, solar blanket's great, but you only get X amount out of it. It's only a 112 watt panel. You just cannot beat having a massive amount of solar straight up on your roof, whether you're just parked up at the shed at home. So when I get home and I pull up and I park it up, constantly trickle feeding the batteries just means everything gets kept sort of, if not full, but very full. I mean, if it's got the right sun, it'll sit at 100%. This is just about the lowest my system has been in a long time. One main reason for that was we actually noticed we had a stick caught underneath, and I've actually pulled one of the cords out of the solar panels, because I rocked up here and I'm like, well, that's weird. I basically sit at 90 to 100%, and I've been on the road for a good 2 months now. So we plugged that back in, started getting solar back in, and now everything will get charged right up. So I can leave the blanket here once the car is fully charged. Predominantly I do use the blanket on the van just because of the tinny up on top. So we'll take it over there and I'll show you how we plug it into the van as well. So now I can just walk around, lay it out flat behind the van in the sun, straight in here. Plug it in, and now I've got another 112 watt panel charging the van. So super easy, super versatile. Right, so look, if you haven't got solar up on your roof, I 100% recommend it. Even if it's just 120 watt panel, something to just constantly trickle charge your batteries is absolutely epic. The other option, if you can't fit something up on the top of your vehicle or on top of your van, I highly recommend a foldable panel. Now you can get your portable fixed panels, but they do take up a lot of room. When it comes to me and touring, I like everything to be compact and practical. Now the folding solar blanket is far more compact than your fixed panels, and it is a lot more practical. You can move it around easier and it takes up a lot less space in your car. Now look, it is a little bit more expensive to go to a good quality folding panel, but the difference between a cheap folding solar blanket and a quality one is chalk and cheese. You'll get almost double the power out, you know, obviously depending on brands, but I've used some shit ones, compared it to these, and honestly it's nearly double the amount of amps I was pushing into the unit. So solar blanket, super handy. A couple of other places we use them, so obviously on the vehicle, on the van, and then when we head out offshore, we actually take this and we hook it up to a portable power pack, and that way I've got a little 40 amp battery that I can charge up with this panel, and we have one fridge sitting there. So basically when we head out to these islands, I can pull up, put the fridge out, put the little power pack, chuck this bad boy in, and as long as we've got sun, the fridge can sit there running. You know, we're only out there for a couple of days, but when you run out there on the boat, it uses most of the power. Pull it up, throw the blanket out, instant power. You never know when you might need it. Anyway, I just thought I'd do a real quick little video on that, guys. So far on this trip, when I've pulled up for 3, 4, 5 days, these have just been absolutely epic. We have had some shocking weather over the last few days, and we are stoked that the sun is out, and what a place for it to come out. But I am going to make sure I get everything charged up as much as I can off the solar today. We'll slide the boat back and get solar on the roof of the van, just so everything's charged up, because it doesn't look like the rest of the week's going to be too crash hot. Anyway, we're going to get this tinny off, get out there, hopefully we catch some fish. Till next time, guys, make sure you get out and enjoy the Explore life.